Hello mga ka-learners! Teacher Angel here. Today, we will learn about measuring volume. In this lesson, you will get the chance to do exercises in computing the volume of different spatial figures so that you should be able to use formulas in computing the volume of various solids and identify the appropriate formulas in solving problems involving the volume of different spatial figures. In studying volume, we'll be dealing with spatial figures such as the following. Also referred to as a rectangular prism. A rectangular solid has three dimensions, namely length, width, and height. How many rectangles do you see? A rectangular solid has 6 rectangles which are called faces. Some examples of rectangular solid are the balikbayan box and other rectangular boxes, refrigerators, and freezers. Can you give other examples of rectangular solids that you often see in your home and community? The cube is a rectangular solid whose dimensions, that is, its length, width, and height, are equal. Each dimension is called an edge. In the preceding figure, the cube has an edge of 9 centimeters. How many faces does it have? A cube has 6 faces, which are all squares. Can you give some examples of cubes that you see in your home and community? A circular cylinder is another spatial figure. It has a circular base and sides that are perpendicular to the base. Examples of this are in the tin cans of powdered milk, circular water tanks, and drinking glasses. How do we compute the volume of a rectangular solid? Remember what we did in the previous lesson to get the volume of a rectangular solid? We multiply the area of one layer by the number of layers or the height. Volume equals area of one layer times height. That is, we took the product of the length, width, and height. Volume of a rectangular solid equals length times width times height. Note that your answer should be in cubic units. In this case, the volume should be in cubic centimeters. Another way of doing this is shown here. We know that the cube is a special rectangular solid that has equal dimensions. So, how do we solve for the volume of a cube? The figure shown is a cube. Recall that in a cube, all the edges, that is, the length, width, and height, are equal. If we compute for the volume of the figure above with each edge, E, equal to 4 centimeters, we will have volume equals E cubed. That's 4 cubed centimeters equals 64 cubic centimeters. Were you able to get the same answer? If you did, that means you're a fast learner. A circular cylinder is a spatial figure that has 2 circular bases and sides which are perpendicular to the bases. Refer to the figure here. Recall that in getting the volume of a solid, we first get the area of one base and then multiply it by the height. And since in the case of a circular cylinder, we have a circular base, we get the area of the base using the formula B is equal to pi r squared. Thus, following the formula for volume is volume of a cylinder equals area of the base times height of the cylinder, or base times height. This is also equal to pi times r squared times height, where B is the area of the base, pi is 3.14, r is radius of the base, and h is height. Let's remember, you use the formula volume equals base area times height equals length times width times height to compute the volume of rectangular solids. You use the formula volume equals edge cubed in finding the volume of a cube. In the case of a cylinder, you use the formula volume equals base area times height, or pi r squared times height, where pi is equal to 3.14 and r is the radius. We have associated volume with capacity, so whenever you get the volume of a solid, you are actually measuring the amount of matter that solid can hold. That's the end of our lesson on measuring volume. In the next lesson, we'll discuss indigenous measures of volume. So, stay tuned mga ka-learners!